Dr. Bill Chackus, Football Reporters Online and the Beyond Sports Network, and we are here with my opposite number at BSN, the Big Kahuna, the Chief Executive Officer of BSN, Jimmy Kibble. Jim, thanks so much for sitting down and doing this with us.
Bill, it's always a pleasure.
All right, let's talk a little bit about how you started and why you started BSN. We heard from Dan before talk about the network and the advantages, but talk about the formation of the company.
BSN, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to keep it short, but the idea basically was when I was playing in NFL Europe, I came back and I had the opportunity to play with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I knew I was going to be behind David Akers, and unfortunately that wasn't going to change. And I started realizing that you can only send out so much film, you can only contact so many coaches, and unfortunately there really wasn't any outlet other than either doing it yourself or having an agent. At the same time, Facebook, MySpace, and LinkedIn, the big three major networks, were making a big splash in 2005. Putting my background in technology together, I started thinking of a way that we could utilize this big movement in social networking with athleticism and with the whole, coaches communicating with athletes faster, and ended up over 2 years building Beyond Sports Network, which was built to basically allow athletes and coaches, teams, leagues to communicate better, communicate faster, because I can't tell you how many times I missed opportunities. The transaction wire doesn't come out till the day later, and it's a different story now when coaches can call you up and say we need someone. These kids have an opportunity to get access 10 times faster, 100 times faster than what you get through, everyday media.
Is it all about the reach out? Is it all about the contact? Or is what we do on the social media side more important? Do you feel more important for the players?
I think it's really a combination of both. The reach, obviously, it comes down to budgets. It comes down to what coaches have access to. It comes down to what teams have access to. And unfortunately, everyone under the NFL does not have NFL dollars to go and get in front of or to find those players. On the same side, you've got these players and these athletes that are using social media and social networking 24/7. And at the end of the day, we're trying to educate these kids and teach them to be a little more proactive. Use Facebook, use MySpace, use LinkedIn, use all these networks, but take some time away and use a network that was built by people like you. The people have been there and done it, and now can give you a way to save coaches and to save teams time from missing out on you. If they can't get to you, then how are you getting to them? So we took what everyone is using today, which is social networking,
Right,
and we put it with a whole athletic spin.
all right, now let's talk about, I've only been working with you guys officially now about 6 months, but let's talk about how we met and how I started communicating with you. It has to do with our good friend George St. Lawrence and the Collegiate Development Football League.
We had a great opportunity to work with George St. Lawrence. He runs a great operation up here and gives some opportunities to players, and that's why, as we always tell people, if the idea is good for the athletes, then we want to be involved. It's about saving time, it's about saving money, and it's about providing as much opportunity as possible. Through George, through using LinkedIn and Facebook, you and I finally came in, and had you not called us, we would have never had the reach on the media side, building a radio show, getting access to providing these athletes even more of a reach through the interviews, through the media, and at the end of the day, like Dan explained, we're a social network, but we have such a big media play into this because it's about keeping that human touch. It is about keeping the human side of technology so that the players understand at any given time they can reach Jimmy Kibble, Dan Evans, Eric Dolan, Dr. Bill Chackus, and all those that are involved with us.
So then we'd be right in saying that you are the Mark Zuckerberg of sports social media.
It would be a nice, a nice place to get to. I am definitely not as smart as Mark Zuckerberg when it comes to the development of the technology, but you know what? I'd like to think that, when you see what he's done with Facebook, that I'd like to just make a small portion of what he's done.
A very small portion.
Exactly. Make that happen and make it available for the athletes so that there's finally something out there that is entirely geared for the pro coaches to meet the graduating college kids and the free agents, for the college coaches to meet, evaluate, and scout the high school kids, and at the end of the day, provide a platform that is not only safe and secure, but provides verification and certification of information. And that's what it's all about. Too many coaches and too many people that are on the evaluation side of it don't know if the athletes are really what they say they are. And on the same side, the athletes need a way to prove that, hey, I can play at the next level. I'm willing to put my time, my effort, my money where my mouth is and showcase myself. And in the end, it's about a level playing field. There's no politics. Dan has explained that.
Right.
It's every man for himself. If you want to be proactive, if you want to get to the next level, BSN's the best way to do it.
Right. And we like to tell the players, as we did this afternoon, you only get as much, into it as you put into it. You only get as much out of it as you put into it. And they have to all, they still have, we can help them, but they have to help themselves first.
Absolutely. The message today was make the investment in yourself. The investment might be time. It might be money. But at the end of the day, if you want to play at the next level, play at college, play in professional, if you want to work in sports, you've got to make that time. You've got to spend that money to get there. It doesn't have to be a lot of money, but it's got to make sense, and that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to save the athletes from making all the mistakes that we made, missing out on all the opportunities that we missed out on,
Right.
and just giving them everything they need. We've got the resources, we've got the tools, and we're making it better every day.
Now, in the last couple of moments that we have, let's talk about all the positive success stories. Let's talk about the guys who have come through the network that are now playing professionally or have gotten at least a look from an NFL or a CFL team. I mean, just the list, it's amazing the number of people that we've had the good fortune to increase their fortune.
I tell you, we've had a great ride. Dan and I have been working on this when I brought Dan on 3 years ago. And I've got to give some credit to a good friend, Mike Feldman, who brought us back together, because Dan and I, we had lost track. But when we sat down and put our minds together, we were able to really develop an idea that went from just being a social network to greater opportunities. And we've seen over 100 athletes in the last 18 months alone sign professional contracts from the NFL down. There isn't a pro football league where an athlete isn't playing in right now. And at the end of the day, it's not about taking credit for that. It's just about trying to reach as many athletes to say, we're not going to get you signed. Your agent's not going to get you signed. No one's going to get you signed but you. Your athletic ability is what's going to get you on that field. As they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
Well, we're going to lay out everything for you. We're going to help you develop a plan on getting your information out there. And if you're willing to do that, we'll get you there. And for the amount of players that have done well, and for the amount of players that continue to do well, it's just about being proactive. Get your information into BSN. Get your information out there, and you will have success. The more you use the network, the more success you have. It's no different than being on Facebook or LinkedIn or MySpace. If you've got
Right.
a goal for being on there, you're probably going to achieve it if you put enough time into it.
So basically what you're telling the kids is if you promote yourself, we can help you promote yourself better.
Absolutely.